If you rely on the age pension or plan to apply for it soon, you need to hear this, because August 2025 isn't just another month. Major Centrelink changes are here, and they could affect when you qualify for the pension, how much you receive, and even what you're allowed to own before losing payments. These are not just minor tweaks buried in government paperwork. These are real, binding updates that affect your everyday life, your finances, and your sense of security in retirement. Starting this month, the qualifying age threshold is changing again, quietly pushing many Australians to wait longer before they can claim the pension. And that's just the beginning. Income and asset test limits are also shifting, meaning what you earn from superannuation, rental properties, or even casual work could now count against you in new and surprising ways. Some seniors will gain from the changes, others may suddenly find themselves just over the limit, losing access to vital support. You deserve clarity, not confusion. You've worked hard, paid your taxes, and planned for this stage of life. So when the rules keep changing, it's only natural to feel uncertain or even frustrated. The last thing any senior needs is vague information or media hype. What you need, and what this video delivers, is a clear, truthful breakdown of what's changing in August 2025 and what it means for you personally. Whether you're already receiving the pension or still navigating the Centrelink process, this update affects your entitlements, payments, and future eligibility. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack the exact changes to age requirements, income thresholds, and asset tests. No fluff, no government spin, just straight facts, explained simply, so you know exactly where you stand. Let's dive into what's really happening this month and how it could reshape your retirement journey in Australia. Now, let's get into the heart of what's truly changing and what that means for everyday Australians. If you're nearing pension age or already receiving payments, you've likely noticed that the rules around age eligibility have shifted again. And if you've been keeping track over the years, it probably feels like that age keeps inching upward. You're not imagining it. For those born after a certain cutoff, the qualifying age has now officially moved to 67. This means that even if you've worked all your life, contributed to the system, and were planning your retirement down to the dollar, you might now be told to wait a little longer. And for many, that wait feels less like a policy adjustment and more like a personal setback. It's not just about waiting though. The financial reality for many older Australians has become increasingly complex. Let's talk about the income test. For decades, this test was straightforward enough. If you earned too much from work or investments, your pension was reduced accordingly. But in August 2025, Centrelink has implemented a new assessment model that adjusts the thresholds and considers different types of income in slightly new ways. For some, this will be a blessing, especially those earning a small amount through part-time work or occasional freelance jobs. For others, it's a painful surprise. Suddenly, the modest income you relied on from superannuation or an investment property might nudge you just above the limit, trimming down your fortnightly payments or cutting them off entirely. But it's not all gloom. There's another side to this that's worth understanding. The new income threshold for singles and couples has actually increased modestly, which sounds like a good thing on the surface. And in many cases, it is. But that increase isn't necessarily in step with the rising cost of living. Groceries, fuel, electricity, insurance, everything has gone up. So while technically you're allowed to earn a little more without losing your pension, the money doesn't stretch as far as it used to. It's a balancing act, and unfortunately, many seniors are finding themselves having to choose between earning more or preserving their benefits. The asset test has also been updated in this latest round of changes. And this is where things get particularly tricky. The government now places updated caps on how much you can hold in savings, investments, property other than your primary home, and other assets before it starts affecting your eligibility. What makes this so complicated is that the thresholds look reasonable on paper, but in reality, property values in places like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, even in parts of regional Australia, have climbed dramatically. So someone who bought their home 30 years ago and has modest retirement savings might now find themselves over the asset limit, even though they don't feel wealthy at all. This has led to growing frustration. Seniors are asking, why am I being penalized for being careful with my money? And it's a fair question. The system is designed to help those most in need, but it's often blind to nuance. It doesn't always recognize that not all assets are accessible or liquid. A home may have skyrocketed in value, but you can't exactly sell your kitchen to pay for fuel. And while some may argue that the age pension shouldn't be universal, others feel it should be a reward for years of contribution, not a handout dependent on fine print calculations. Another concern that's being quietly discussed among seniors, particularly those in rural and regional areas, is how Centrelink is managing these updates. Many have reported long wait times, difficulty getting clear answers, and inconsistent treatment from office to office. With so many seniors not digitally inclined or uncomfortable managing everything online, the shift toward app-based services and MyGov systems is alienating. There's a deep sense that older Australians are being pushed into a digital world they didn't ask for and don't fully trust. And what about those who've already retired and thought they had everything in place? Well, the changes still apply. Even if you've been on the pension for years, Centrelink reassesses your situation regularly. If your circumstances have changed, even slightly, you may receive a letter saying your payment will be reduced or suspended. Sometimes it's due to a reassessed value of your assets. Other times, it's due to not meeting new compliance criteria. It's jarring to open what looks like a routine letter, only to find out that your entire fortnightly income is under review. One particularly emotional situation that's been unfolding involves couples, especially when one partner passes away. Under the new asset test, the surviving spouse may suddenly be considered over the threshold because the combined assets are now evaluated for a single person. So not only are they grieving, they're also grappling with a reduced income and unexpected paperwork. It's moments like these when the system feels least human, and that's where the outcry is growing louder. But let's also talk about hope. Amid all these changes, there are still tools and pathways that can help seniors stay afloat. For example, the Work Bonus program is still available, and under the recent changes, it's being slightly enhanced. This allows pensioners to earn up to a certain amount without impacting their pension payments. For those who are still able and willing to work part-time, this can be a saving grace, particularly for people trying to offset inflation. However, many seniors don't even know the program exists or how to apply for it, especially with all the forms and online procedures now required. In recent months, financial counselors and pension advocates have reported a surge in inquiries. Seniors are asking for help navigating the changes, interpreting letters from Centrelink, or appealing decisions they feel were unfair. Community centres are stepping up, as are some not-for-profit legal services, but resources are stretched. It's become clear that while the policy updates are happening, the support infrastructure to help people adjust isn't always keeping pace. And while we're being honest here, we also have to mention how some seniors feel deeply let down by the messaging coming from the government. They say the communication doesn't match the lived experience. Official press releases often say things like pension increase or supporting older Australians, but on the ground, the reality feels different. Some people are receiving less, not more. Others are being told they have to requalify based on updated definitions of income or changes in how certain assets are counted. It feels like the goalposts are always moving. One example involves superannuation. More and more Australians now have significant portions of their retirement savings tied up in super. But the way Centrelink assesses your super can be confusing. If you're under age pension age and have money in an accumulation account, it may not be counted. But once you reach pension age, the same funds are suddenly assessed as part of your total assets and deemed to be earning a certain rate of return, even if they're sitting untouched. For some, this results in an unexpected reduction in pension entitlements, right when they thought they were in the clear. Then there's the rising trend of seniors renting. As housing affordability worsens, many older Australians, especially women over 55, are renting in retirement. This presents unique challenges. The rent assistance program exists, but it hasn't always kept up with real rental prices, especially in capital cities. Some seniors are spending 50% or more of their pension on rent alone. That leaves very little for food, bills, medical expenses, or simply enjoying the retirement they were promised. Interestingly, some changes introduced in August 2025 do offer slight relief here. The rent assistance payment has seen a modest increase, and the government is reviewing eligibility criteria to ensure it captures more at-risk seniors. But again, the increase doesn't stretch far enough for most, and it hasn't stopped the rising fear of eviction among older renters. There's also a growing call to reform how the pension system treats voluntary work and caregiving. Many seniors spend their time caring for grandchildren, volunteering at local charities, or supporting others in the community. These roles don't earn them income, but they save the government billions in service costs. Yet, under current rules, there's no pension bonus, credit, or recognition for this unpaid labor. Some have suggested a social contribution offset or bonus to pensioners who give back in these ways. But so far, that remains an idea rather than a policy. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, healthcare. Seniors often say it's not just about the pension, it's about managing their whole retirement budget. With out-of-pocket health costs increasing, including for dental, prescriptions, and allied health services, the pension must stretch further than ever. Some changes have been proposed to expand access to bulk billed GP visits and reduce PBS medication costs, but implementation is slow and not uniform across states. So while you might read about a positive change in one article, it might not apply to your area or might require a new application form through MyGov. Amid all of this, one thing becomes clear: seniors in Australia are resilient. They are adapting to changes, asking questions, sharing knowledge, and pushing back when necessary. Online forums, community gatherings, and Facebook groups have become unexpected lifelines where people share tips about Centrelink letters,